All right, what's up? We're gonna be talking about Monique. We're gonna be talking about her son. We're gonna be talking about Beyonce. We're gonna be talking about two topics today. A nice little mix combination what we're gonna be diving into. So y'all come on through. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome, 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 welcome. Okay, welcome. So first, we're going to talk about Beyonce. We got to talk about Beyonce first. I want to say she want to get into the country music genre. Kudos. But you got to understand, country music, the industry is a white industry, right? Very white. More Southern, very racist, right? So one of the Beyonce fans reached out to a country music station and they said, we're not going to play Beyonce. She's not a country artist, etc. A Beyonce fan came out and said that station was blatantly racist and they showed some discrimination towards Beyonce because she's a black woman. The station got dragged. The station got all the bees sent to their station. They were getting emails, bombarded with phone calls. I tried to call the station. It was a busy signal. I tried to send an email. The email was sent back. Like, it's just a lot of people have been responding to this station. So the radio station came out and they responded to the situation and said, hey, just if you say you want to play the Rolling Stones, we would give the same generic response. We love Beyonce. We are a fan of Beyonce. But clearly, Beyonce said, this is a country record. This is a country song. I'm not shocked that Beyonce is getting this type of response from country music. She performed at the Country Music Awards with the Dixie Chicks, and those white people were very racist. They did not see Beyonce as Queen Bee. They called her Queen N-word, right? With the ER. You know, they disrespected this woman to the highest form because that demographic, that industry do not look at Beyonce as being the queen. They look at her as being black and X, Y, and Z. Now, when I was paying attention to this story, I said, well, first of all, we need to keep clear that Beyonce had every right to go into this genre. But just know Beyonce is not stupid. She know that it's some racist people. She's from Texas. If you're from Texas, you have seen blank racism. Period. When I moved to Texas, went in there that long that I've witnessed some racism. So she knows what she's doing. She would use the racism of the country genre, the fans that are blatantly racist, use them to promote her music. Use this to energize her base. Now, mind you, I'm not a fan of the music, but do I believe the music should be on the station? Yes. Do I believe that her fans are going to request this record because it's going to be a black versus white? Absolutely. This is a strategic plan. It's no different than what the Democratic Party does. They're racist. Vote for us. And Beyonce, pretty much, she's not saying a word. They're racist. Go request my song so I can make all of this money. I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is smart. This is really, really smart because she don't need this win. She got plenty money. She will never be able to enjoy all of it. It's not another car she need, not another plane she need, not another house she need. But it is a statement that, listen, I'm black. I want to do country music. There were a radio DJ said back in the day, Matthew Knowles said Beyonce wanted to be in country music back when she was like a teenager, back in the day. And there was this white man said he used to run the station. He heard about Beyonce because her father said, hey, she wanted to get into country music. This is before we know Beyonce as we know her today. So it's not like that this is new that she wanted to do country music. Let's be all the way clear. Beyonce is from Texas, and being from Texas, you know that it is heavily into country music. I believe all the celebrities like Roland Martin, he loved country music. So if you're from like Houston, Oklahoma, Tennessee, all of these other places, you know about country music. And when I was looking at my homegirl, K. Michelle, she was getting the same criticism, but she's from Tennessee. So let's not act like this is new for Beyonce. The only reason why Beyonce is getting this type of clout because Beyonce is Beyonce. Because she's a bigger artist. She's a bigger name, a bigger brand than a K. Michelle. K. Michelle never had a massive hit that was so internationally known. She's just black famous. Beyonce integrated into mainstream because she had worked with white artists as well as black artists. She done movies. She toured around this world. She is an internationally superstar. She's internationally known. K. Michelle is just black famous, right? Hood famous, black famous. She's not internationally like that. She have not went on a world tour. But she does better country music than Beyonce. If we would put Beyonce country music versus K. Michelle country music, I give it to K. Michelle all day. No shade. If you just put them together, I give it to K. Michelle all day. But Beyonce is more marketable. She have more fans than K. Michelle. And she have over almost 3 decades in the business. She have 3 decades of data, 3 decades of infrastructure. K. Michelle is still building her fans. I don't even know what K. Michelle even call her fans, to be honest. And so I think that is a disservice to the country music stations not to play Beyonce. But this is a problem with R&B, with pop records, where, you know, Trey Songz, where he came out, not Trey Songz, actually Tank came out and said, hey, if I were to do a song, Sam Smith, Stay With Me, I would only be on the urban channels, urban stations. Sam Smith could do Stay With Urban, pop, all the mainstream white stations would play that record. But if a black artist do that same record, they get limited radio airplay. So the racism is not just in country music, it's in R&B, it's in pop. If a black artist do it, they consider it to be pop, they automatically call all black artists R&B. If they do rock, oh, you just R&B. So it's difficult. Lil Nas X faced the same criticism. He had a country white artist on that song and still had to do with blatantly racist ideas like, oh, this is not really country. Oh my gosh, let's move the goalposts up. I'm just not understanding how in the world are we doing this? This doesn't make any sense to me. And I would say go to black-owned stations, but it's only a handful of black-owned stations. Because of the deregulations of these radio stations, it's not too many independent radio stations. A lot of these stations have been brought up by these corporate giants, and so they have the say-so. Even Beyonce have to fight to get her just due in radio play. So when we look at all of these people, they talk about Darius, and I love the record that he did, To Be a Man. I love that. That was an incredible record. But it took him a while to get the notice. And so many other black country artists, it took them a while to get the notice. But you got to keep at it. Anytime that black people are doing something that white people took over, we have to fight to dominate, because they know once we let these people in, it would be their genre again. We are the originator. We are the architects of country music. But they know the power, the gatekeepers, that if we let Beyonce be successful in this genre, the floodgates of all these so-called R&B artists are all going to do country, and it's going to happen, and they're going to dominate the genre. When they didn't let black folks into the NBA, and then when they finally let us in, we dominated the NBA. When they was preventing us to play in the NFL, when they let us in, we dominated the NFL. Let's talk about baseball. When they let a black man into baseball, they started to dominate, and they started to work against that by not funding programs, not funding, all of these youth programs into baseball. They made it very expensive to keep black folks, to prevent them from training their children and teenagers up to work into that industry. So once you let us in, we're going to take over. Once you let us in the industry, we just going to take over. In the Olympics, once they finally let us into the Olympics, we took over. So I understand why they're preventing us for being into country music. Now, we have plenty artists in country music, but they're not getting enough airplay compared to their white counterparts. We look at the data. And when I look at the data, Black country artists are still suffering with radio play because these white-owned artists, these white-owned radio stations, like, I don't really see Black people doing because I'm not going to play it. They have to fight through hell to get radio play on these white stations. So you have to fight so hard. Not saying Beyonce is only one, but Beyonce is fighting this fight because just like plenty, just only country artists that does country that is Black still have to face blatantly discrimination and racism because of their skin tone, because they're doing the same type of music, sounding the same like white artists, the same storytelling, and these white executives, these white radio station owners, they prevent these Black people from being on the station. They limit them. And so I'm glad that Beyonce have a strong fan base, and this is where you use your influence for good, because so many people use their influence for bad. But Beyonce influence is really good. They get on there, call the station, call them out, and really expose their behavior. And when this guy exposed that email, that went viral, and everybody is talking about it. Everybody is having a good time, and everybody is like, "Oh my gosh, okay, let me stand with Beyonce." Now you got Black folks that wasn't really a fan of Beyonce trying to get to country music, but we a fan that she's Black first, and we gonna stand up for her because she Black first, and we ain't playing no games. We gonna go to the station, and we not gonna play no games. So I love that piece that they're still sending phone calls and emails and sending texts like, "Hey, play Beyonce music, play this record." And that's what you're supposed to do as a fan, because if you want to see your artist on these radio stations, play it and actually get on the phone. And I love that number one, we're Black first. And when you're Black first, if you blatantly see discrimination, I may not even like the record, but I want this to be on the radio station because it is country, and play the damn song. So I love that her audience is applying the pressure with the streams, because they broke records on iTunes and they broke records on all of the streaming sites, because Beyonce have a very massive impact. And the one thing I like about Beyonce is that she don't spread her celebrity, go everywhere. She's very strategic. When she show up, it's amazing. Oh my God, it is history. Oh my God, Beyonce showed up. Oh my God, this is a main event. Because she don't go every place. She's not on Instagram every other day. She's not in a Twitter beef every other day. She let her work speak for herself, and she have a solid Twitter fan base. And that Twitter account, Beyonce something, I believe that controlled by the Beyonce herself, but she have a solid marketing team that many people should study, and they don't. But baby, she's ahead of the game, because she allowed her work speak for herself. She don't make no public statement. She don't be out there Twitters and dragging and cussing. No, she just continue to do the work. And it's a long game, and she plays it so well, because I just love every piece about it. Did I like the record? No. But did I try to contact the station to get the song played? Yes. Because number one, I am Black first, and millions of people said that it's a great song. Millions of people said that it's a great song. So I love it. I think that's incredible. And I will continue to fight for my people to make sure that we have the proper representation in all levels of the music industry, from playing the music to the executives to sitting on the boards, etc. So let's have this conversation, and let's speak about it, and have this blatantly spirit of just a warm spirit. We just got to have it, because I love it. I feel like it's a great vibe of Beyonce to come out and have this conversation. And shout out to her fans. I would have never thought of to reach out to these stations. It's a very strategic plan. I love it, because it gives her fan base something to fight. Everybody like a boogeyman. Everybody like, okay, let me prove this person wrong. It's no different than football. I love that. Okay, let me prove this person wrong. we're going to get them records played on this station. I love that because I think like Black people, we do well when you give us a point of action. We do well when we come together. We do well when we have to fight for something. And this is something to fight with. Yes, her record should be played on the radio. Yeah, her record should be played. And you use that. And I love it because I feel like anytime where Black people cannot get their just due, you're supposed to educate the people and say, hey, they're blatantly showing discrimination. And obviously, they felt that way because they have been calling the station all day since this story dropped. This is how iconic Beyonce fan base is. They have been emailing, call, and force the station. I've never seen this before to make a public statement. I never, ever seen a radio station is responding because data tell you that they're feeling the pressure, and I'm all for it. I think that is one of the best things because when they got up and they felt this pressure, I love it. I thought it was iconic. I thought it was the best. You can't tell me that they ain't feel that pressure because they PR team came out with a statement today and the blogs they posted. So Beyonce, make your impact. Use your influence for good. You better tell them people, wait a minute, I'm Queen B and I ain't gonna play that. I'ma put in the work. And that is what I love, that Beyonce is putting in the work. And it may even go into the top 10 on the country chart. Who knows? The way that Beyonce is so strategically moving. And let's not even hope that a video come out with it because Beyonce want to take over this genre. She want to do it. She dominated the other genre, so why not this one? So it is what it is, okay? Anything that she touched, I've turned it to gold. And she's really said, hey, I still got a lot of juice in me. I want to do country. Nothing wrong with that. She grew up in Texas, grew up in the South, so why not do country music? So I want to really hear y'all thoughts in the comments. So make sure y'all hit the comments and everything else when it comes to that. Now, I have to really switch gears. I got to talk about Monique. I got to talk about her son. Early this morning, I got word that her son was on TikTok. And her son released this video. And it was like a 9-minute video. And I saw the pain in the son. I'm going to start with Monique's son first. And he was literally saying that she's not trying to work to rebuild the relationship, trying to make the relationship work. She have said this on Club Shay Shay. I watched that Club Shay Shay interview, and that interview almost got about 12 million views. So 12 million people heard about Monique's son and about how Monique is trying to make it work and how she apologized. I've heard in previous interviews where she said, I was chasing a bag and I abandoned my son and I paid a price for that. And I thank God for giving me another chance to become a mother. When I heard the son talking, first of all, I teared up because people think that all mothers are good mothers, and that's not true. His mother abandoned him, and I felt pain, and I put myself in his shoes. I had a mother that was there, but still abandoned me. My attitude, being a drunk, not being focused on the children. I told my mother this. I personally believe you didn't want to have children. I think that you just wanted to have sex and you didn't want to have an abortion. And you just got stuck with 6 children with bad men. You know what I'm saying? You didn't know who the father was. You was playing around and you did all this type of stuff. I felt like you were physically, you came home, but you wasn't a good mother. You wasn't a nurturer. You didn't say, I love you. So you wasn't really good with paying bills. Neither was her husband. He was bad. Multiple times, both parents are working. Bills were getting shut off. Y'all were terrible with money, but y'all made sure to drink. So I put myself in his shoes. And this is where adults have to understand. And he's an adult, right? The parent have to understand the perspective of the child. And the perspective of the child, you got to let him have his moment. Because he was mentioned. People forget that this man was mentioned in front of 12 million people. So he had every right to speak. He wrote everything down. He blatantly didn't cuss her out. He didn't trash her. He did say, and her daddy, responding to Monique's husband, Sydney. And I'm listening to this. First of all, I'm tearing up because I can hear the pain. I can hear the pain. And first of all, I went to Monique and I saw her channel. And then I saw what she was saying in Club Shay Shay. I went back to listen. And she made it seem like I'm trying to make it work and blah, 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 give him time, etc. Then once I got just digest what the son was saying, I got another update that Monique and her husband is live. Actually, the person that sent me said Monique and Daddy is live. I'm like, okay. So I'm listening to Monique. First of all, her husband started to speak. And he just took over the conversation and he called the son mentally ill. Have a problem with that. Number one, the reason why I have a problem with Brother Sidney for calling this brother mentally ill, I felt like that wasn't his place. I felt like even if he is mentally ill, we didn't need to know that. And Monique didn't even share that he was mentally ill. I felt like that was messy and I felt that that was wrong. I felt like when you bring in someone and calling them mentally ill, unfortunately, it's disgusting to put out. And it's like you're weaponizing the reason why he's saying it because he's just mentally ill. I don't like that. That makes me feel, because if he is mentally ill, then can you blame him for being a little mentally ill? His mother abandoned him. And to see his mother move on with her life and have children, get remarried, and say I was able to do it again, and I was there for my children. I didn't abandon my children. I turned down multi-million-dollar deals for my children. But then you have to look as the son, as the older son, like, Mommy, you didn't do that for me. You kept doing the red carpet. You chased the bag. You abandoned me, and you just gave me gifts. And so I understand the pain that the son is going through, but the problem that I have with Monique's husband, that I think that he needs to take a back seat, because this is between Monique and her son. It's not you, not in the picture. And for Monique, this is what women have an issue with when you get married, and that's not the children's father, is that you allow them to have too much say-so, and you got to know when to put your husband in their place. And first of all, a good husband will be like, baby, this is your battle. This is not my battle. I'm here to support you, but I don't think I should lead this conversation. You have to lead it. And first of all, this shouldn't even be public. I think Monique got to be the mature one because, number one, you the mother. Number two, you got the celebrity. Number three, you got the power and the influence. So automatically it's a win. So you should have been like, let me not respond to my son. We're going to handle this behind the scenes. Let's not bring this to because once you bring the public into the situation, you can no longer say, public, stay out of my business. You let the public into your business. But I understand. I get it. I get it. It's painful. It's just a painful thing. It's one thing to have a deadbeat father, but it's another thing to have a deadbeat living mother. That's a pain that I don't want to put on anybody. And when I saw the son speaking, number one, he is broken. Number one, he needs therapy. Number one, he needs counseling. Number one, he needs that. And I understand what Sydney is coming from. We helped you get a car. We helped you, I get that. But still, what is the rule? He felt abandoned. I look at my own family. I look at for my grandmother and her daughter, how they don't talk. My aunt lives in Georgia. Only came to visit. I've seen her, physically came here to visit her mother maybe twice. I physically seen her. She don't call or get on the phone. My grandmother's now old and sick. She's still holding on to this grudge, abandonment. My grandmother not willing to humble herself to bridge that. And so it is what it is. But one thing I want to say to Monique and to her son is to please try to make it work, because one of y'all gonna die one day. And you don't want your mom to die and look over that casket that you didn't let it all out and try to rebuild that, right? And then, Monique, you don't want your son to die and you did not put in the effort to, work on that relationship. And it is challenging because your mom can say sorry. My mom never said sorry. So I don't understand it at all. She thinks she know it all. She thinks she didn't do anything wrong. And I just live with it because it's just some effed up mothers out there. It is. But again, I'm mature enough to understand, what did Monique go through when she was a little girl? What did she go through when she became her issues? I think that we as children, I have to learn this, that my mother had a life before she became my mother. Monique had a life before she became a mother. And it is best to understand the root, not to excuse it. You will have more understanding. And for once I started learning what my mother went through as a little girl and as a teenager, I learned not to have that much against her. I learned to just give, okay, I understand. I get it. Do I agree with it? No, but I understand. I just think for Monique, for the positions that she in, don't mention your son. Because when you mention your son, you open that door for him to respond, especially when you've done wrong, because you did abandon him. It's no different when Tyler Perry abandoned you, putting out a lie, and people said you were difficult. There is no difference. Only difference is it's just different type of scenario. But the root of it, somebody lied on you, and you want it that wrong to be done right. So hopefully you can have that wrong done right for your son. And in some relationships, it just will never be, because egos gotta humble. The son gotta lay down his ego, and mama, you gotta lay down your ego. You gotta lay down ego. You gotta lay down ego, and y'all gotta come together and talk as mama and as son. You got to be able to talk. It's no different when I saw Kurt Franklin and his mom and her issues, that she still wasn't humble enough to lay down her ego when this man was trying to find out his real father. It's sad, because bad fathers and deadbeat fathers get a bad, they get exposed. But we also got to talk about a lot of deadbeat mothers out here. It's a lot of deadbeat moms out here. Let's call it, and they're black. I'm speaking about the black ones because I'm black. So we must also bring that to the forefront. And a lot of these black mothers, some of them got egos. They felt like they haven't done anything wrong. They felt like they could just say sorry and just erase it. No, that takes time. And what Monique and what her son, I would advocate for, and what I'm trying to advocate for my mother, number one, is to have a third party to go to therapy, to go to counseling, because your life, you have problems. For me, I had a lot of problems of my mother's relationship, and I had a lot of issues, and it's still affecting me today as an adult. So I have to work towards that as a grown man, because I can't force my mom to be what I want her to, the idea mother, right? The nurturing, because she can't give that. She's not in a space to give it. So I have some grace for her. But when it comes to like Monique and all of that, I just hope that mom and that son come together. But you got the public in it. I'm still a fan of Monique as a talent, as a comedian, standing up for equality, for black folks being paid fairly in Hollywood. I stand on that. But what I disagree with my sister on is the son dynamic. I disagree with you allowing your husband, that is not that man's father, to call him mentally ill, have an issue with that, because that's not his place. First of all, if he didn't share that he is mentally ill, why are you sharing it? So I understand. I get it. Monique, you're trying to relive your life. You're trying to, at a peace. And I get it. And one thing I love about her son, the maturity, he said, one of my brothers, they don't understand because their mother was there. Their mother was in the home. So they don't understand that. It's no different when my aunt was talking about how my grandmother abandoned her, that she wasn't crap. That my mother took offense to that. But I said, Mom, you were raised by your mother. Your sister wasn't. So you only speaking from your experience, but put yourself in her shoes. If your mother would leave and go to another state and start all over and then bring that, you will feel some type of way. So you have to put yourself in your sister's shoes. So when I look at Monique and I look at her son, this is typical black trauma, typical egos in a way, hurt, anger. And in order to work through it, y'all got to go get some counseling. And also, I just think that the son just got to forgive his mother. I had to forgive my mother. And it made me live more peaceful, get into the gym, work on me. I've learned that. I had to forgive her, even when she didn't even ask for it. I forgave her because let me just free me. I had to free me because I was holding on to that baggage, and I held it on. I remember this was 6 years I haven't talked to my mother. It was a long time. My mother had been in hospital, didn't even call, text. People would tell me, "Hey, did you hear your mom was in?" Oh, okay, whatever. I called, didn't think nothing to it. Like for 6 years, I haven't talked to my mom. That's how strained the relationship was. Still strained because we're on talking, but it's still strained. I still feel there is no connection. Like when there's no connection. So I felt for the son because it opened some wounds up for me. It did. And I did cry. I was very emotional seeing the son, how he was talking about it. And I was angry when I saw, Sydney doing his talk. That made me pissed off hearing that because I saw it. I was at the gym and I just had to turn it off because I'm like, I can't even get with that whole space of your whole fight with Hollywood right now. My prayer is that you and your son work it out. And I just like my prayer, because I know life is too short. I don't want to wake up. And this is why every day I try to make things right with my mom and try to have the understanding, because I know life is limited. We only here for a short amount of time. And I want to make sure that it's that we can have a loving relationship, because life is short. And I don't want to carry on that baggage to my own children and to my own family, my own offspring. I don't want to bring that. So that's why I'm working on all that trauma. And I thank God that I'm in a position where I don't have children now, that I'm be able to work through the trauma and the hurt and build and make myself better. So when I do become a father, I don't put that trauma on my children. Not saying I'm going to be a perfect parent. There is no perfect parent. But that unnecessary trauma from my childhood, I put on my children. So I want to make sure I, let it go and let God. That's why I pray more and I talk to God more and go get closer with Him, because I did held on to a lot of pain. It was the most painful, the most painful feeling ever, to wake up and see your mother abandon you, like to still avoid the conversation. Like and I get it, mothers avoid. Like my mother's different. She avoided and she would drink. Monique avoided. She puts in her work. She will talk about Hollywood. She don't want to talk about the real issue. She'll talk about it a little bit, but then she'll change it. I get it. I get it. You don't want to handle. It's too much hatred there, and it's a lot of egos. And to her son, my best advice now that you have children, just do better for them that your mother wasn't able to do it to you. Don't abandon your children because you know how I feel to have it. It's just it's painful. I've had two parents just was terrible, abandoned me, right? Mother was there physically, but still abandoned, and I had to move with my grandmother because it was so much trauma. Being around a drunk and so much trauma. So then father, when I finally met father, it was so much trauma. And my mother knew that he was the father. She just recently just told me that, she knew the guy that I found on DNA ancestry. She said, oh yeah, I knew. Oh, I told him that I was pregnant, but I didn't like his response. So I went and told the other man that you, my father, that I'm pregnant, but didn't tell the other guy. Now the other guy, my father, was just, a one night stand and all of that. And she told him, and his response like, oh, what, really? But it ain't yours. And she just went on knowing that he was it. And it just like, so that's what, that. And when I was looking at it, I said, no judgment. But was I pissed? Oh, absolutely. But it's no need to be angry because, I'm a grown man now. And is it painful? Was I angry? Absolutely. Because she's just that way, you just learn to like, oh, okay, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You're sharing this information. I mean, you're drunk, and she's sharing it. And it all makes sense because she did say again that he was the father. But, and first she denied it. Now she just blatantly saying it out. But it's so sad that you have to get answers when your mom is drunk. That's very painful. But when it comes to Monique's son, I just hope and pray that he don't carry it, because now you have children. And I just hope Monique just don't mention her son. Don't mention your son. Like, it is painful that you see the two sons here and their mother. Now, I thought, because when we was in the comedy show, she said, this is my son and his grandson. Now, I don't know if it was one of these kids got grandkids or so maybe it's one of these sons, not her biological son. So excuse me, but I do remember she said, this is my son, and he got kids, whatever. I don't know if that probably wasn't the oldest son, probably one of these. I don't know, but I do remember she said one of the sons showed up to the to when she was at the comedy club. So I do remember her saying that. I have to go, but it's probably one of the oldest son, probably one of the. And then he was talking about how the cousin is like a daughter. It pains him, and I think Monique, you got to be careful. It just pain. I understand the pain that he's coming from. I understand the pain. I understand the hurt. I understand the emptiness. I understand. I get it. It's just a pain. It's just hard to describe it, man. It's just hard to describe. Oh, she have another son. It's painful. I agree. Don't mention him. It's painful to deal with it behind the scenes. She told Shay Shay she needs to fix it, and I don't think that they just need to mention it at all. You know what I'm saying? And if you need to, yeah, you should fix it, Monique. Get on the phone. Don't do another live. The son, don't do another live. Don't do another live. Just work on it. It is painful. I talk about my mom on the show as a form of therapy. You know what I'm saying? But it's different. My mom is not famous. But to Monique, you are famous. You have a lot of influence. So you're not just talking to Club Shay Shay. You're talking to the world. You're talking to the world. So understand what your son is going through. And to your husband, understand. But I understand what Monique, not excusing it. This woman was abused. Her innocence was taken away. And I think Monique needs therapy. I think that she thinks she don't need it. She needs to go back to her therapist. And she needs family therapy. I've said the same thing for my mother and I. I said we need family therapy. We need that therapy so we can talk. And so we could talk soberly, so you don't have to be under the influence and everything. It's just very painful, man. It just, woo! I don't like even talking about the subject because that's how much pain it is. Like I just in my spirit, I just feel that the pain. I feel like I feel it like when I was watching it. It's like he's a little boy that just crying for mommy. It's just a pain. It's a pain that I feel like I don't wish it on my worst enemy. I don't wish it on my worst enemy, man. I really don't. I don't care what nobody say. It affects you, man, because it affect me. It did. It did. I'm still gonna go to her shows because as a professional, I know how to separate your stand up from your real life. But people, I just it just does something to me because we gotta do more. We parents, you gotta do better. And us as the children, we growing up. Some of us are grown. We also have to understand that mommy had a life before she had us. We also got to try to build that up and work on it. So, and in another sense, I'm kind of glad that we're talking about it because maybe it'll get the conversation between parents and children. Like it is. I would love to have a conversation with my mom about it, but it doesn't make any sense having a conversation with her about it right now because she's drunk. So having a conversation when she's pulling back bottles, it will agitate her and she will go left. So, but it is painful for that. And I'm praying for the father. I'm praying for Monique. I'm praying for her son. I'm praying for that whole dynamic that God brought. And I'm praying for my dynamic with my mom. And if it never get to a peaceful place, I pray that I learn how to work through this and to be a better example for my children when I have children. So, but this is a lot, man. This is the lot because it really opened up some wounds. It's like, and I didn't want to talk about. It's like it dominated, it dominated me. It just I'm like, man, it really done something. And I've pulled through. I went through pure hell mentally, so I lost it. Because you gotta understand what all I went through. A mom that was a drug, being a part of a cult, was lost. I was broken. I was lost. And it took me a while to find myself. It took me a while to believe in myself. And it's normal to go through emotions like sadness. It's okay but it's not okay to stay in sadness. It's okay to experience it's an emotion. We're human. But this is a problem that can be fixed if Monique and her son is willing to fix it. But you got to have some serious conversations and some serious conversations about it. Because I do believe he wants a relationship with his mother. I do believe the mother wants a relationship with the son, but I don't think she know how to do it. I don't think he know how to do it. And yeah, it is that way. Because I had to forgive my mother. It's painful because, you know, she gets sick and, you know, you come back and you see her and it's like not getting better. And, you know, I just pull back in a sense, you know, but I look at her. I look because I love her. I'm a split image of my mother. And I just pray. Like my prayer is like, Father, like, let us be at peace. Let's have this relationship. You know, let's have this closeness. Because me and my mother we don't have that closeness. I try to have it, but it's difficult when one party is sober and another party is not. It's impossible to have a relationship when one is under the influence heavily and one is sober. Monique needs to stop letting her husband be her mouthpiece. He have mind control. And I also understand where Monique is coming from, but I think Monique just needs to not let the public involved with it. I'm okay when you let people know about your husband and yourself. That's your business, right? But I just have an issue with bringing up your son, bringing him up, and letting your husband call him mentally ill. That's what I have an issue with. I have an issue with that. Any other thing, I don't, you know, I'm with you, you know, with your fight and all that. But I just have an issue bringing up the son, calling the man mentally ill. That's the only issue that I have, calling that man mentally ill. I'm just, that just triggered me. That really, really triggered me. But you know, I want to hear your thoughts. If you want to call in and give your thoughts about this entire situation, now is the time. Because that was like one of my main issues, like listening and allowing this man to call your son mentally ill. That's what I had an issue with, like one of the main issues. So let's go ahead on and go to the phone lines. If anybody want to call in and give their thoughts, whose side are you on? You can call in. The number is 972-674-9462. Let me know whose side are you on. I understand I had my mom when she was sick, kind of out of duty, not love anymore because I'm kind, not because she's been a good mom, because she wasn't. She was cruel. And that's what I feel like. I understand. Like I help her just to do right, not because she was just a good mother. No. Or just because she birthed me. That's why I do it. But that's it. I don't do it because she was just this blah, 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 blah. I do it just because, you know, she, you know, just out of it's the right thing to do. But you know what I'm saying? But because I see I'm not even doing it forever because it's whatever. You're not ready. But yeah, I agree. I see what y'all saying here. Anybody got something to say? You want to call in, give y'all thoughts? I would love to hear your thoughts. Hey, because just being a good guy, you know what I'm saying? Even for my nieces, because it's not just her, like it's like nieces, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this cycle of just living your life, abandoning your children. I'm like, that got to stop. Woo! And that's probably another reason why I didn't want to have children, because I'm afraid that I'm going to leave them or abandon them. Because that's all I see, people having children and then abandon them and putting them on somebody else. That's the hubby that had the most to say in response. That's to put Miss Owens on that man. That was just wrong. I was like, oh, what is that? And I'm like, who gonna break this cycle? And I feel like that's why I go through so much, because when you're trying to break that cycle, I'm like, man, no, I don't want to just have children and just put them on somebody and just say, oh, I forgot about it. Right. No. Hey, what's up? You live on the Wiley Show. Hey, you live on the Wiley Show. Hey, what's up? What's up?
So
go ahead.
Here's the thing. What you said right now was the truth. I feel like They need to patch things up. They need. I feel like I love Monique. She's funny. She's very funny. But she
Yeah, make
really
sure you turn up your phone. You sound a little muffled. You got to put your headphones on. Go ahead.
Okay, hold on. Let me check my settings. Can you hear me now? Okay. As I was saying, Monique's funny, but she really needs to talk to her son. I feel bad for her kid. I feel bad for his son. Like for him say he just wants for him to talk to. He just wants Monique to talk to him. I think they need to happen. It needs to happen, and you said the truth. Now for Beyonce, yeah, she does not. This album's not going to end well. I saw the commercial. I didn't like the song "Evil." I was with you. I hated that song too. I feel like she's not Weaver McIntyre. She's not like the legend you mentioned. So Beyonce, I'm sorry, you don't belong to the country category. You don't. The album's not gonna go well. It's not. You're not Taylor Swift. I think that's what you're doing. You're trying to be Taylor Swift. Now that's why I just looked up.
Yeah, because and shout out to you because you had called like 12 times already. I felt like Beyonce, I'm not a fan of the music, but it didn't stop my associates and Facebook friends and Twitter followers from saying they love the record. It just wasn't for me. I have not been a fan of a Beyonce project since 4. Okay. I'm just not a fan of this new sound. It's just not for me. It may be for somebody else, but it's not for me. That's the point.
Right. It's not for me
It can be for somebody else, but it ain't for me. Like the country sound, it's just not for me because it just wasn't for me. It may be for you, for this person, it just wasn't for me. But if her fans want it played on the radio station, play it. I also have that mind.
Right, but
yeah,
I get what you're saying. I'm not the country artist. I listen to country. I listen to Blake Shelton, Weaver McIntyre. I listen to Luke Combs, Jason Aldean. But Beyonce, no, it's not better than Lemonade. That album deserved the Grammy. Lemonade was the only album I liked. This album, no. Now Beyonce could have went back to gospel, then I would have listened to that. She did gospel before. She could have done a gospel album. I would have listened to that. Instead of country, gospel would have got you a Grammy for sure. I don't know if you surprised you would do a gospel album.
Yeah, I feel like this is new for her. Not new for her because she did. No, I think this is new. Really getting into country, and we'll see how it goes. But thank you, brother, for calling in, giving your thoughts, and thank you because you have been calling me all day today. The show wasn't even live.
Now, you're right. I started calling about the Usher thing, but when I say he took our time, I said Ryan was waiting for that moment to happen. We both
yeah, but thank you for that.
No problem, man.
All right, bye-bye. I mean, he was calling me like 50,000 times a day, child. I'm like, who is this calling me at the gym? Let me put this phone on Do Not Disturb. Child, over 50,000 times. Woo! It's okay, but I'm like, this show ain't live yet. Hey, pardon me, go ahead.
Hi. So yeah, I was calling to drag Monique because how are you out here now? She has been trying to fix these issues with Oprah, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels. So you've been telling everybody about these people, but you've been neglecting your son, seems like, since he's been born. And so like the way I move, if your house is not in order, like you don't have a relationship with your kids, your life is in shambles, I'm not about to take you seriously. And she not getting none of my money.
I also feel like, and this is my take. I'm a fan of Monique. I stand up for equality in Hollywood because Monique was right on there. They just left from just going on a whole what 6-7 months ago, did all of Hollywood just went on a strike. So I stand on her on that. I stand on why she's upset with Tyler Perry. Put out a lie, and when Tyler said, I put that lie on you, and I'm gonna correct it. I stand on that. I feel like Oprah was wrong for interviewing. I stand on all that. But let's talk about the son. I don't agree with bringing the son up, and then the husband gonna call him mentally ill, and then Monique, you're the celebrity in it. Already your son is in the minority. So you have a lot of power and influence and the narrative, etc. I just feel as though Monique should have just not mention it, said just pray to the universe for or don't mention it. Just don't mention it. Right. This ain't the first time she mentioned her son. I saw another interview where she said, I was chasing the bag, I abandoned my son, and blah, blah, blah. But this time she said, I'm trying to make it work, the universe, et cetera, et cetera. And the son said, oh, no, you're not trying to make it work. And then the son said, I'm not trying to make it work either. So it's like both of them, and he's his son, mother, they both got egos. They both stubborn. You could tell.
No, I don't. We have to let that narrative go because that man did not ask to be brought into this world. She chose to bring him into this world. So if you have a child and something is going on with the relationship between you and your child, is your responsibility as the parent to fix the issue with your child. A parent should never ask their child, oh, well, you should come to me. Come to you for what? I didn't come to you when I came here. So what are you talking about?
I also feel like that's only if you're a mature parent and you're not broken. Most of these people that have that, they don't know how to be a parent.
But Wiley, thank you for saying that because why would he go to her knowing that she's immature?
I can just tell that Monique is not equipped for this. I think personally,
so he
what Monique
can't go
should
to her
do is to do therapy and to get there. This is what therapy comes involved. Family therapy comes involved and into this. I think Monique just said, you know what? Because she got the money. She got the money to get the best therapy ever. And it's up to the son to do the therapy, and it's up to the mother to do it. But I also feel like for the son now, because you're a grown man. So now he's got to make sure that he's not bringing trauma to his child.
Exactly.
And all that, because at the same token, you're an adult now. I have to understand that with my mother, I can't change her. Yes, she should be the one leading it. Yes, she should be fixing it. Yes, she should be doing that. At the end of the day, what if she don't do it? It's on me now to make sure I'm fixed, to make sure I'm not broken, to make sure I'm not just out here just snapping off, because I was doing that at one point because I was broken. And I had to work on me as a grown man. I could have easily played victim and played it well. And I did do it. And it made me sick in the head. And I had to get professional help. Now, it took me to commit a crime to get the serious help because I was a poor black mentally ill man. I wasn't rich. Poor black, meaning that we're going to wait till he commit a crime to give him some mental help. Even though we could have did it beforehand, but our system is set up, you got to do some criminal shit, then we get you some mental help. So I think, honestly, and for me, I remember I called my mother from the hospital. This is how broken I was. I said, Mom, just get your life. I don't know what's wrong with you. What's wrong with you? So I literally have to just get off the phone. If I was in the psych hospital, they allowed me to use the phone before I got into the padded room with no shoestring, where they, So I went on and I had to get. I was on the cross. Either I go down the road like my mother did, drink my pain away, drink my thoughts away, or really work and do some positive things. The YouTube channel, journaling, into music, into reading, going to the psych, and that's it. Because I don't have all the resources to do massive therapy. We have tried. It takes money. This is not free. Only thing best you may get is group therapy that's led by another person with the same as you and some medicine. That's it. All that you gonna sit on the couch unless this is what these people told me direct. You have another mental crisis that you on a top level, meaning have about 2 more breakdowns. Then you can get on the waiting list for some free therapy.
Wait.
So it just but it's sad how our system is set up because it's hard to deal with when you're broke financially. So for me, I had to make some quick decisions, and I found my happy place. I found my sanctuary, and it's the gym. You know what I'm saying? It really helped give me purpose and added like, oh my God, your body is the temple. Like your body, it helps. It has so many health benefits. Working out because I still dealing with a lot of trauma. I just know how to deal with it in a constructive way than to deal with it in a by being crazy. So, but it takes, and if you don't have that both party, because what if you don't have the money that's willing to do it? You still got to do it because at the end of the day, it's up to you now. You're an adult now. I understand when you're a child, you have no say so. I feel for children that got to stay stuck in it and can't do nothing about it because they're a child. But when you become an adult, you have to, even though it's painful, it was painful for me, you have to work on you. And sometimes I understand why he's distant from his mother because it's probably painful. It is painful. And you just have to be for me, it was about 6 years I didn't talk to my mother. I felt guilty. I said, okay, let's try that. And then you open that door back up, and guess what? It's the same. Only
chaos, same stuff.
It's the gray hair, not on English, just Miller High Life. It's the same thing, just a different liquor brand. It's just, but
same thing.
It's just the same thing, and you would live forever and waste breath trying to make somebody change that don't want to change.
Exactly, especially if they don't even see that they have a problem.
Absolutely, and they're not sober enough to see it, right? They don't stay sober because they will have to face it, and instead of facing it, I'd rather drink myself to avoid it. And so,
and then
and
somebody in the comments,
alcoholism or addiction is celebrity status, and that's the worst type of addiction.
Somebody in the comments said you can't keep blaming your parents all your life. I don't feel like these people that have issues with their parents for what their parents caused them traumatically in their childhood, I don't feel like they're blaming their parents. I feel like they're trying to make their parents be held accountable for their actions. Like, okay, yeah, I was a horrible parent and that affected your life and it's still affecting your life. I'm sorry. But no one is saying that. Monique had the opportunity to say that today, and she said everything but that. First of all, they got on the live, was laughing, kikiing, ha-ha, and talking to the cat. Oh, Peppers, whatever the cat name. Peppers, stop playing with that piece of paper. Like, your child just came onto the internet to let you know that you are a liar and that he's still hurt by the stuff that you did, and you're not even taking it seriously. And then they just kept hopping from topic to person, talking about Tyler, then talking about Oprah. Ma'am, you're supposed to be addressing your son, your firstborn son.
I agree, and it's very painful. And to the son, you know what I'm saying? My best advice is leave Monique where she's at until she's ready, because you're not gonna be able to change her. Because ain't Monique in her 50s now,
right?
So you'll come out better trying to have a relationship with your brothers than you will trying to have a relationship with your mother. And that's the
yes, Crystal. Monique definitely should have called her son privately. Why are you coming onto the same platform, Instagram, that you come on to address all these other people that you're not related to?
Yeah. That to me,
like something is wrong with her psychologically, and if we didn't see bits of it in the Club Shay Shay interview, we definitely saw it today.
Yeah, I just feel like, of course, she's broken. Monique went through a lot of trauma in her childhood, and not to excuse it, but she went through a fair share of trauma.
That's too bad, because she don't seem traumatized when she be hugged and snuggled up with daddy.
Well,
she looks just fine to me.
That to be true, and I just think that for the son, I just feel like once you really research your mother, you'll be like, okay, it makes it. Like once I really started to ask questions. How old she was a little girl, as a teenager. It makes okay. I understand. Do I agree? No, but I have a more of an understanding. I can come at you different, and this is why I'm an advocate for therapy, therapy, therapy. Sober house, sober house, sober house, because you got to, first of all, in order for Monique to rebuild the relationship with her son, she must work through her trauma. I don't think that she got rid of all her trauma. She hasn't.
She not gonna work through nothing because daddy not gonna let her.
I understand that.
Because if she starts working through her trauma, Wiley, if she starts working through her trauma, she gonna see that man is no good for her. But, that's what she gonna see. So that's what he's trying to prevent.
I can't speak on that dynamic, but what I can say is that we as a community have to normalize going to see a therapist like we're going to see a dentist and getting veneers in our mouth for those that do have that. Because I was watching a YouTuber, they were talking about their issues with their mother. And I love when we have these type of conversations, because then you get to understand how people operate when it comes to Black women. Because your mother is your first introduction to a Black woman. If you have to a woman. So if it's effed up with that, you're going to pull how you feel about your mama onto other women. And so when I was watching great, I was like, oh, I understand. You did go through some trauma. And your mother is not as this nice as this, oh, y'all have this loving bond, because you start talking about that trauma. When that man, Monique's son, started to come out, it opened up for the bloggers that's talking about it. They started to open up about their trauma with their mother. They started to talk about, mama just abandoned me and left me with my daddy. Or just, and then in my case, mama was here and just did not go to the school, did not go to school events, did not do nothing, did not get us ready for school. She just was a mother and just in name and title only, but not in the mother in actually doing the work.
Or some moms are just show moms.
So
when you're in the house, they're one way. When you're out the house, told us a show mom. Putting on a show out the house, go back in, real mom.
Because I remember my teacher said, is their mom dead? I remember I told her, I said, my mom is dead. Because I feel ashamed that she never got.
No.
Said, is your mom dead? He said his mom died. Oh, she just don't like coming to, because she never came to school stuff. Maybe once or twice. She was never a participant. Now, my grandmother, when I moved with her, she was very active into my school. Like anything that I need, she would take me. She was a very active person. So that's why my love, the way I talk about my grandmother, is just on a higher scale, because she was mama. She cooked me food. Everything that my mother should have done, my grandmother did. And this is why my heart ached that this generation now in my family, they don't have that, because that person is in a nursing home. So my God, where would my life would have been if I didn't have that person to give me structure, some type of a positive outlet where I can express myself. And so that's why, I have this close bond with my grandmother, because of what she did, when I moved into her home from being in elementary school, from graduating. She made sure I graduated. She made sure I was clean. She made sure I was fed. I didn't have to eat breakfast at school. I ate a 4-course breakfast, 4-course lunch, 4-course dinner. And I love that. I just feel like, unfortunately, I feel like a lot of, and my mother would get upset. Well, I'm your mother, blah, blah, blah. But I think she get upset because I remember one time he said, oh, my grandma, that's my mother. That's mom. And she used to get mad about that. So I just went back and just say, oh, this is my grandmother. But you got to understand, like, kids is loyal to those that showed them nurturing. Like, we loyal to them. Like, it is what it is. Like, I dropped everything from my grandmother. I didn't drop everything when my mother got sick. I'm talking about she was sick way throughout my different parts of my childhood, and as when I became an adult, never dropped it. I kept living my life. But when I heard that my grandmother really got, I just dropped everything. It was an urgency to get here, but it was the reason why. But I'm praying that Monique get it together. I pray for her. I pray for her son. I feel like they need to get God in this. Stop talking about the universe. That's another issue that I have. Because I'm
Yo,
like,
you picked up on that too.
I
I'm
picked
like,
up
what
on that.
y'all
Like they
talking
trying to talk
about?
about universe. That's why a lot of y'all kind of effed up trying to replace God.
Yeah, because they have nothing to stand on. If you're not standing on the word of God, you are going to fall.
Yeah,
That's
they keep
not a
on talking
threat.
about the
That is a
universe. I'm
promise.
like, what the world?
That's
The
a fact.
universe?
What is
Hello?
the universe?
Who created
The universe is something that God created. Stop playing.
Okay, so I had a little issue
On
with
the
that.
on
Y'all
Al
trying to
Gore's
replace
internet playing.
God.
I prayed to the universe. That's why you messed up now, Monique.
Yeah, I just
Talking about when you prayed to the ma'am. What?
yeah, I just had a little issue with that, and I had an issue with that. And then someone brought up Carry On Franklin, Kirk Franklin. Yes, and then you remember how Kirk Franklin was broken about his father? You remember that? How he wanted to
Just
find him?
carrying on generational
You see
trauma,
how he put
not
this on?
addressing the issues, bringing kids into the world, fornicating with this person, fornicate. Y'all are making the issues worse by not addressing them and still going out here thinking you about to live a normal life.
Facts.
You're not. You are not.
You are so right about that.
Not addressing the traumatic things that has happened to you will
Gotta
only
address
cause
it.
your mind, like you won't be able to make good decisions. Your judgment is going to be clouded.
Address it, because if you don't address it, it will eat you up, and you will keep making more trauma bond babies. They become trauma bound men, men or women. You know.
Chelsea with her glasses on says, "Let me call in. Call in, Chelsea."
Yes, please do. All right. Woo! Y'all calling in today. Thank you.
Okay, this is a very hot topic, Wiley, because a lot of people deal with this and don't talk about it.
Absolutely, deal with it and don't.
Because it's not a fun thing to talk about. There's nothing fun about this type of situation.
No, it's not. Absolutely not. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you. Yeah, you call in too, Couture Bay. All right, bye, y'all.
Bye-bye. Okay. Hello, you live on the Wiley Show.
Hey, Wiley.
Hey.
Thank you, Prada, for letting me slide in as well. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I got a little bit of a upper respiratory cold, so I sound crazy. But I'll say this. I'm a Beyonce. I'm from the South. If you grew up in the South, you know you hear country music all the time. Most people from the South, we prefer the older country artists over like the new age country artists. But I don't think it should be a problem. I'm here for it. I feel like we got to break more doors open in for certain genres so that Black and brown people, they should be able to experience these things wholeheartedly, or be able to be inclusive into those groups wholeheartedly. And sometimes you do have to shake the table, break up the grid to get these things started. So even though I think I saw a couple comments as far as talking about Beyonce doing country. Oh, well, we already got a Darius Rucker. Well, listen, you can have a Darius Rucker, but you also can have a Beyonce in country. You also can have a Chanel in country. You also can have a K. Michelle in country. So I do feel like that, we need more people trying to break these barriers, whether if you listen to the music or not. You need more people to break these barriers so that you have these opening doorways and people aren't just leaving you to being the one token Black man who just does country, or the one token Black girl who just does country. It can't be like that, because we do let these other, there's other areas in music that, people can cross over to all the time and be okay. So I just think that with that being said, do your thing. If you want to do a country album, do a country album. Great. If you like it, like it. If you don't listen to it. But now, will that get her a Grammy Award of the Year? I don't know. We'll have to see. But listen, anything is possible. Now with Monique, Wiley, I'll say this. You're right. I don't think that conversation should be online. Granted, now I do feel like that the son, he should be able to do what he did, because it was touched on in the Shay Shay conversation, the Club Shay Shay conversation. But I will say Monique's response and her daddy's response, y'all should have just kept that. Y'all didn't need to put that out there, because it does show that, there is some child-based trauma within her as to why she can't be the mother she needs to be, as well as being able to self-reflect and say, hey, you know, I wasn't this great person, this great parent to you. I wasn't who I needed to be for you when you needed me to be. And then, you know, of course, make a plan of action and put it in place. But a lot of times, I'll say this, I don't agree with Blueface on a lot of things, but he was right when he said parenthood is the hardest hood you could be in. Because sometimes I think that now, me being a parent now, and who was also a child who, you know, had to go through therapy in my adulthood for abandonment issues with my father, I will say that, you know, sometimes the answers we seek the questions we seek aren't going to be the answers we want sometimes. And what you do with that information is at your will. But you do have to own up to the fact that, you know what, you are an adult. This happened. How do you, you know what I'm saying? How do you navigate through life with these emotions? And also to be able to, you know, self-reflect on yourself and who you might want to be as a parent when you become one, you know? And I'll just say that, you know, they should have just never did the live. They should have never did the live. You know, if the son if he doesn't want to repair anything, and she already knew he didn't want to repair anything, what was there to come back with a discussion? You know what I'm saying? Because you already know his stance. You know what I'm saying? And when people make a stance, let them stand on business. The same way, you know, she made her stance that, you know what, hey, go put it up in the universe. Stand on that business then. But don't come back and try and gaslight him and say that, you know, or let daddy gaslight him and say, hey, we done this, that, and the third, and he got these X, Y, and Z problems. It's just not, that's not constructive. And it doesn't help other people who have gone through that or going through that. It doesn't help them, you know, pretty much have the confidence to say, you know what, I guess I'm one of the people, if they can do it, we should be able to do it too. And because that's not what they're doing, or that's not how she's going, she doesn't give people hope to mend those issues in the Black community, especially Black parents, or I don't want to say now age Black parents, because we haven't, some of us millennials and Gen Zs, we haven't crossed that threshold. But as far as like the older generation, they do have an issue with owning up to the accountability, and also owning up to the fact that, you know what, they didn't have the tools to be great parents. They didn't have the love shown to them to be able to show their children that kind of love. I just think that by her doing that, it doesn't help alleviate what other people in our community go through on a day-to-day basis. And at some point, she should have, at some point, you do have to self-reflect, and you got to hold yourself accountable. And as a parent now to a young 3-year-old little boy, you know, his dad is in his life, his grandpa is in his life. My dad is not in my life or in his life. And I'll just say that at the end of the day, those are his choices, and that's fine. But I've made a firm stance on myself as being a mother to give my son the tools he needs so that he can be the best version of himself, regardless of what I had to go through, regardless of what I had to, you know what I'm saying, pull myself up out of the ground and be and blossom to the woman I am today. You have to put the greater good in a higher threshold than you would based on just how you grew up. You know what I'm saying? Your outlook has to be in a higher threshold than the situation you came to. And if they can't mend that, then that's fine. They can't mend that in this lifetime. But I just hope that moving forward, he heals or has healed or decides to heal his past traumas with his mother so that he can put the greater good and reinforce whatever love he didn't get to put it into that child.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Thank you, sister, for calling in.
Thank you, Wiley. Have
Love you. Bye-bye. All right.
Bye-bye.
The number is 972-674-9462. Woo, I had to catch myself. I almost teared up. Hey, you live on the Wiley Show. How you doing?
Hey Wiley, how you doing?
Doing good.
That's good. That's good. I'm happy that you were able to. I'm happy that you were able to come on live today to have this discussion. I'm just gonna touch on Beyonce. I like the country record. The record is good. It is country. Um, I I felt like there was like a little bit of discrimination with trying to get that record played on the country station, but I'm glad that they got that done. Um, about the Monique and her son, I feel like a lot of callers have made valid points, but I also feel like they're also hearing what they want to hear in a sense. And here's why I say that. I say that because when the son was sitting in his closet recording himself speak about his experience, he did admit that Monique apologized and went into details about her why she is apologizing. She also thanked her cousin, which is her assistant, for being a better mother to him than she was because she was working. She was the breadwinner. And even though a lot of us cannot relate to that because we're not in a celebrity world, I'm pretty sure a lot of celebrity kids are being raised by family members or nannies. As far as like regular folks that just make middle class money or just make decent money, when it comes down to our childhood trauma, it's really no comparison because Monique went through a lot growing up. Her own brother was, you're a fan of Monique, so you know what her brother was doing to her, and then she's grown up with people talking about her size and just talking about her. So it's like she had a rough upbringing. So I feel like if she apologized and she took accountability of why she's apologizing, then I agree with what she said on Shay Shay's show, that it's up to him. It's up to him. You can't force somebody to you cannot force nobody to accept your apology. You cannot force nobody to get over things the way that you want them to. But I'm not about to be beating a dead horse, apologizing and taking accountability and apologizing until you get ready to take my apology. It's either you need to, you know, go to therapy, or maybe you need to let it go. Like, I'm not saying like let it, yeah, I am saying it. You need to let it go. My father has been in and out of my life. Me and my father, we have talked, but I'm not looking, as a grown woman, I'm not looking for him to be my daddy. I'm not looking for him to make up for lost time. You are who you are, and I am who I am. I will reach out to you, tell you happy birthday, Merry Christmas, this, that, and the third. I may even come and hang out with you from time to time, but I'm not looking for nothing from people. I'm not looking, I don't have no expectation. And I feel like that's where people who may not have children get misconstrued or whatever. They feel like you are the parent. You supposed to chase after the child. No, not when y'all are grown. We are grown. We are grown. And whatever expectations that you have from your parent that you feel like may have neglected you or may not have done the best to raise you, it's like, I don't know. I get what you were saying about your experience, but it's like, I just feel like the apple don't fall too far from a tree. Monique constantly talking about things that happened in the past, and so is her son. As far as like Mr. Daddy saying that he had mental illness and people feeling like, oh, Monique should have checked him. Why would she check him online? You know what I'm saying? Maybe it is some truth to that. I mean, hell, I feel like everybody who goes through like a traumatic experience or have such a trauma childhood, all got a little bit of mental illness, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? So I do feel like he needs to. It does sound like he wasn't. It does sound like after she apologized or after they went through whatever they went through, I still feel like he wasn't ready to accept it because he holds some type of expectation that he probably needs to just either lower or let go and just allow the relationship to be like what it is. You know, I do feel like both need to put effort, but I also feel like Mr. Daddy, I also feel like I'm not gonna say he oversteps because, you know, he's not he gives beta man vibes, you know, he gives beta man vibes. I'm not married, but if I was to be married, I would expect for my husband to be my protector, to stand with me and fight my battles, you know. But when it comes down to my kid, I don't know if I would have allowed him to speak on that. I don't even think I would have spoke on that on the internet. But I feel like he speak up for her a lot because hell, that's her husband. That's what she's supposed to do. But I hope that Monique and her family, they come to like some type of solution, and that they don't keep taking it back to the internet. But that's all I had to say, Wiley.
All right. Thank you so very much for calling in.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. I think we had somebody else that called here. Give me a second here. I'll call them back. Hey, Couture, you live on the air.
Oh my gosh. Wow. It was a lot of good talking. There were a lot of great talking points. Let me just start with that. I want to first start off by saying I want all the fan bases to see what the HIVE did because, baby, that was a call to action. They got an email from a top Oklahoma radio station that promotes country, and they just set the tone for the fandoms. Like, you won't put our fave on the radio? Don't worry. We're going to force your hand to tell us why. And not only did they expose the discrimination, they exposed them for being liars as well. And then we see them getting called steadily for, it was like in 5 minutes, play the song. So that's how you do it. I want to start with that. As for Monique, Sydney, aka Daddy, and Shalom, I believe everybody. I believe the son, I believe Monique, and I believe Daddy. And here's why. When I was starting my career, a lot of women told me, if you decide to have children, make sure you have a great partner because these children will F up your life. And I used to laugh at that, but the older I got, I can see it. It doesn't matter how much a woman is a stay-at-home mother or a career-driven woman. One of these children it don't matter. Somebody's not going to get what they need. They're going to feel like their mother was either too weak, just enough, or didn't pick them up from school or whatever, right? I've seen it happen in my personal life with career-driven women. They're not afforded the luxuries others are afforded. And so the children are like, you was never there, blah, blah, blah. But we also have to understand that her son, that Monique was on the Parker, she was at BET. Would she be able to do these things had she had turned them down to be a mother to her son, the mother he envisions her to be? I don't think so. And that's unfortunate. That's why so many women are opting out of being mothers, period, because it's a very thankless job. Not everybody's going to get what they need. Now, granted, she said she was not the mother he deserved. She apologized for that. She said when he's ready for it, I will be here with open arms. I've apologized. He said she apologized. She said he's still in the will. He's getting the things. He's getting the money. And I feel like this. When Steve Jobs' children said their father was a horrible dad, Did that take away the greatness that he put in the world? No. But they're going to have to reach some type of therapy, but he doesn't want it because he wants her to leave daddy, and that's not going to happen. I said the same thing about Steve Harvey's children. He's not about to leave Marjorie for y'all. Monique is not about to leave her husband for Shalom because he provides her peace. And I think as adults, we have to find the peace in that. Your mother is never going to give you what you need. So you can either move on from this or you can be upset. I think he's still upset. I think he has resentment. And I also feel like this. If you bring it to Beyonce's internet, then it's up because you brought it. He didn't have to bring it. She didn't disparage him. She just simply said, we don't have a relationship. She thanked her cousin for being the mother she could not be. And do you think the cousin did that for free? No, the cousin was probably getting paid great money to be a mother in that son's life. And you read Jennifer Lewis's books. She said it in her first book. If you're not getting what you need from your parents, go find your village. And I think Shalom hasn't found his village because he still has some type of sore spot for his mother. Like, oh, wow, she's able to raise his kids and be loving to his kids, but she's not with me. I'm with you, Wiley, when you say he needs to have that relationship with his brothers because at the end of the day, you're not a child anymore. You have a child of your own. Are you a good father to your daughter? Will she come out and say years down the line, you wasn't the best dad, but you talking about my grandma like this? Like, we'll never know. We will never know. And it just, to me, it's a toxic cycle that just doesn't quit. That's just how I personally feel about it. You damned if you do, you damned if you don't. And it is what it is. And I think a lot of people need to be honest. This is not some little boy reaching out for his mother. This is not some mommy dear situation. This is a young man, well, a grown man who saw his mom be a mother that he wanted to his siblings. That hurts. That hurts. And she openly admitted that to the world. And a lot of moms have that thing where they're like, I chose the best thing for us because a lot of women, Black women, are the providers in the life. If his father was the one out here doing it, maybe Monique could have been at home. And by the way, his dad is the dad she was being knocked between the washer and dryers with. So this is why I promote don't have kids in your 20s, because you don't know who you are for real in your 20s. You're still going out for things in your 20s, hell, even in your 30s, but at least at 30, you're more mature. A lot of people are having babies with people they don't even like, let alone love. So that adds another thing. It's just a lot that goes into it, and I feel for everybody. But it's on Beyonce's internet, so we talking about it. And I did see some of them creators who have horrible relationships with their mother. And all I can say is this: you have to find the peace in knowing that the relationship can either get better or it won't ever get to some type of point, and let it be what it is. I don't know what it's like to have a toxic mother. My mom didn't always tuck me in. She wasn't always at the school events, but my father fostered an environment where he spoke highly of my mother. And I've seen my mom cry about missing those milestones. So I don't know. It's just, it's sad. It's heartbreaking. And it scares me as a woman because I don't know. It's just like, because I am driven, will my child come out on the internet and discuss me like that, And I always think about that. And that's a scary thing because she could have been loving, we don't know. And the receipts could prove that, but feelings are a real thing. And his feelings are so great. She's the villain in his eyes, and she's the hero in so many other people's eyes. So it's sad, and I understand why women like Oprah say they didn't have kids because look at this. I don't know. It's just,
It is. It is because I mean she's famous, and like you see your other siblings, mom was there, sacrificed her career for her new children, for the new batch, for the younger,
Yeah.
and she didn't do it for the oldest son. She was getting the bag, and that have to be painful for him. I'm understanding his side. That's something where he's gonna have to work through that pain because Monique can't go back. She can't.
She can't.
She
And
can't
I
go
think
back for that, you know. But now they both at a position as adults to have a much with them and a counselor.
they need a mediator
They need a
immediately.
mediator, right, to really work through that. And this could be great for the community because Monique talked about the community so much. This would be great for the community because how many of us in our families in the Black community that is have strained relationship with a parent?
It's so many. And when I hear people say they have, I feel bad for them because my parents are in my life, right? But I have a sibling who says all the time that they didn't get the love. And we all grew up in the same house, the same way. I'm not laughing at it, but it's just like, you just never know. Someone's always going to feel like didn't have enough. They didn't get something enough. You didn't make their orange juice the way that they liked it. I don't know. And as a parent, and my parents are not celebrities. My parents are just well-to-do Black folk. I can only imagine the celebrity status attached to it, right? And we've seen it from time and time again, from the Steve Jobs. It's not just our community; it's every community. Job, the Jackie Chan's, both his kids is written out the wheels, and they both hate their father, but we love Jackie Chan. The Osmond family, they got a lot going on. She said she's not giving her kids nothing. They don't deserve it. I'll give it to the homeless. I was just like, it's so much. It's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And I do feel where everybody is coming from. I just feel like you have to have that inner peace because there's nothing like peace, and there's nothing like
It's
knowing
none
you're
like it.
enough.
And when I look at it, you know what I'm saying? This is so, it's like when we talk about couples, like we don't know all the details. We just give you
Yep.
what we see. At this moment, should it just be private? In a sense, it should be private as a business. Yeah, it's public. We can get clicks and views, and we can make a conversation about it because I was able to see where creators are going through in their personal life. Like I had a preview of some things, and I'm like, I understand. I understand. And I'm glad that people are being more personal or being more opening up to their trauma, right? And so
Yeah.
in this case, I do want to thank them for putting it out there because it creating a conversation. Now, all over the country, people are like, well, let me call my mom or let's go to therapy. And I hope that Monique, because she have influence, say, you know what? I'm going to go to therapy with my son. And they do it, and really put it
No,
in
most
work.
definitely.
Yeah.
And I see what y'all saying in the chat. I'm not gaslighting. I just feel like this. He's in his 30s. Like, he's not going to be a young boy anymore. He has a daughter. He has to think about his own daughter because she can literally come out years from now and say, my father talked all that ish about my grandma and he won't ish. She can literally do that. She could be like, I want a relationship with my grandma. Blah, blah, blah. We have seen it. We have seen it. This is not nothing new. Social media just opens us up to seeing things and I've seen it from a different perspective. I've known women who literally married one man, had children, married another man, had children, and the kids felt some type of way about the newer kids. And it happens with men and it happens with women. I've never said that these people were bad parents. The only person I called a bad parent was D.L. Hughley because he laughed at his own child's trauma. He chose a friend over his child, and he laughed when he was like, I'm happy I don't have to hide from this burden of that son that was unalived by that bad man. He's the only person I said is trash. Steve Harvey, I don't know. They're not going to divorce their wives so that the children can be happy, because I believe in this. Your happiness, you come first. If you don't put yourself first, you will always be last. And I also feel like your happiness is the best thing. And if daddy provides her happiness, and who are we to say divorce this man to make it right with your son? What if it never makes it right? Now she's without a husband too? I just think that's crazy. I also feel like this. If he doesn't want to reconcile, he doesn't want to do the work, y'all want her to keep saying sorry over and over until he accepts her apology? I don't believe in that as well. You said you're sorry. You addressed the thing. She said she's sorry.
And that's why, in this is so many details that we don't know. I understand that. And this is why it's not best to talk. See, when you get, it's just like almost if me and you was married and we allow our parents to have an input of our marriage. And I remember watching this movie, Not Easily Broken. And
yep, I remember that.
Remember how she allowed her mother, and then when the mama finally opened up about the trauma with her husband, she assumed that Taraji's husband was like her daddy. And you know what I mean? So that's why it's important to work through your trauma, because without you knowing it, you could be putting it on your offspring or your marriage, etc. So
you sure can.
Yeah. So but we don't know all the details. But what I do know, I'm going to pray, because I know I have issues with my mother. So all I do is going to pray, and I'm not going to judge him for what he did, because I've did some things too publicly. So I can't call him out. I just say, from speaking from experience, it ain't going to make it better having a public feud. Somebody got to be a mature one to put in the work. And while you doing the work, that person probably still stuck in their drunkenness, in their bitterness, in their ego, their neglect, whatever. Because you can't change a grown woman. She got to be willing to put in the work like you're putting in the work. But you ain't going to be able to force her to change. You're wasting your time, especially in her 50s. Forget about it. She got to be willing to make that move.
She's already set in her ways. And to everybody who's asking why I giggle when we talk about weird situations. I don't like to be uncomfortable. And the fact that I was vulnerable with you guys, the producers, to say, like, this is one of the reasons why I did not have children. I purposely did not have children, was because I'm chasing my career. Can you imagine if I'm chasing my career, I'm doing all these things, I'm going above and beyond. In my mind, being a great mother, and my child comes to Beyonce's internet and say, "You want no great mother?" That is a huge fear, because I am a public personality.
I'm glad you said it, because I remember Oprah and Barbara Walters was doing an interview. Barbara was interviewing Oprah. This is when she was going to retire, bringing Oprah show to the close. She said, I don't regret. I should have had kids or whatever. And Barbara said, it was good you didn't have it, because I had a daughter. We have a strained relationship. Why? Because I rarely raised her. I was chasing the bag. So it was good that you didn't have children, because there's been no way that you could have focused on your baby running a daytime television show for 25 years. And if you know anything about a daytime television show, your day start early and your day start late.
It sure is
late. It start early, ends late. And you're always doing a show, a movie, because Oprah was doing everything. In her prime, she was doing everything. Television, movies, books, she was going to it. So it had been hard to be there to raise a child when you are in a career that demands so much of you. And it's hard to have that balance, because some award show, some recitals you won't be able to attend, some basketball games you won't attend, some baseball, because this is how you get paid. This is your bag. And I get it. But also there is a price that you're going to have to pay for that child to feel like you abandoned them, right? And that is a price. But I pray that Monique and her son can work through that, because and I do want to thank them, Monique and her son, for creating this conversation. This is a conversation that's been going on for years, but just bringing it back for 2024, I think that's great because let this be a lesson to work with your parents and let's work through our trauma. Let's all go to therapy. Let's normalize getting a head check like we getting our body check for other parts. Let's make
Yep.
it a trend of getting mental treatment and counseling and therapy.
Oh, most definitely. I agree with that.
Yeah,
110%.
let's make that a trend.
But thank you, Wiley, for having this conversation. You're right. There's a lot of people who have mommy issues on here. I don't think you have mommy issues. I think you understand boundaries. There is a book out there, ladies and gentlemen, that speaks on boundaries. I think I should get it. I'll send it to Wiley so you can promote it to y'all.
Okay.
But thank you for letting me call in.
Thank you, Couture Bay.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay. The number is on the screen. Wow, we are getting this is really, really good. We're really, really good. Okay, we're gonna get a new caller on. Hold on, child. Let me see. So many of you all have been calling in. All right. All right. The number's on the screen. New caller. Anybody else want to call in? 972-674-9462. Call in. Call in. Call in. Okay. Let me get this person on. All right, because we want Hello, you live on the air. Hey.
Let's talk about Beyonce.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I heard that Beyonce is she's planting stories to give balls to her new album. Is that true? Did you hear that? Yeah, it says she's planting stories. Some of them are true, like she planted that her songs will be coming out in an album, and there's other stories because she wants to create balls for album, like Lemonade, for it to sell. So some of the stories are like fake mixed with real. I don't know.
Well, I feel like with Beyonce, and I feel like anybody, when you're dealing with a celebrity, anything is strategic. I don't put nothing past these celebrities for having children. I don't. Everything is strategic with Beyonce. Even the elevated, everything is strategic. But it's a great strategy because she is black and country music is right. The industry is racist, so it makes sense, and it's good because it worked. Because while we're speaking about this, shout out to the friend of the show, my good friend, beautiful friend, beautiful brother, Kaya from the Neighborhood Talk. They just posted an update that the radio station, the Oklahoma country radio station, added Beyonce new music to their plays after influx of requests.
Wow.
So it worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
It's working.
It's very
Beyonce.
She's a mastermind of being strategic. It worked.
Yep.
It worked.
So some of those stories are real and some is just fake. Like the breakup thing, I'm hearing that it's fake to just create balls for her new album, like Lemonade. So, well, she plays the game. So, she's smart. If that is true, I don't know whether it's true or not, but that's the news. That's the little rumor going around, like some fake mixed with real. So, well, thank you, Wally.
Thank you so very much. Love you.
All right. Okay, love you, Wally. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. This has been amazing getting y'all to call in today. Some new callers, some returning callers. Thank you so very much. Love you all. I can't wait to meet you all in person. I would be in Vegas. And Couture Bay and myself. looking forward to seeing the Bass Squad. Looking forward to seeing the producers. We'll be in Vegas, and I'm looking forward to seeing y'all. This is April 26th through the 28th. We'll be at the Palace Station Hotel and Casino. That's like the meetup spot. And then we're going to be going all around in Vegas, right? Having a good old time. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to drink, dance, just a good grown vibe. Wiley Show Production at gmail.com. Any questions? Let us know. Please do. I'm looking forward to it. This is my first time meeting Couture Babe, my first time meeting the Bass Squad, first time meeting some producer I have not met yet. So I'm looking forward to it. That's April 26th through the 28th. For more information, just email me, right? We're going to be at the Palace Station Hotel Casino. There's so much to do there. And then we're going to be it's going to be on and popping at other places that we're going to be attending. I'm looking forward to it. So if you got any questions, reach out to me or Couture Babe, or email me directly at wileyshowproductions@gmail.com. All right. I just want to say that. Okay. Welcome. Thank you all so very much. If you want to contribute to the show, please, $ Marquise Wiley 28, Zelle at wileyshow@gmail.com. If you want to contribute to the show, Cash App, $ Marquise Wiley 28, Zelle, wileyshow@gmail.com. It'd be greatly appreciated. This has been amazing 2-hour broadcast, almost a 2-hour broadcast. Thank you all so very much. I was not expecting this conversation to be I didn't even do an intro. I just got right into it because it was weighing heavy on my heart to have this conversation. And I hope and pray for those that are having issues with your mother. Please try to make it right. If you can't, make sure you right and build up. And whatever children you have, make their life better, the life that you would have loved to have with your mother or father. I want to thank you. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. Leave a comment. Let us know how you felt. Please leave a comment. I would love to hear your thoughts. Little black boy, you're beautiful. Little black girl, you are enough. When times get hard, always remember to put God first. God bless you, you guys. Can't wait to see you all on tomorrow for another episode. Talk to you soon. Peace.